Good afternoon and welcome back. You're watching World News and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwinska. Europe's defense ministers have pledged broad support to the initiative of providing a safe haven to Ukraine's armament manufacturers and training Ukrainian soldiers in the war-torn country if a ceasefire is brokered with Russia. This is according to the EU's top diplomat Kaja Kallas, who made the comments following a meeting centered on security guarantees for Kyiv to ensure a potential ceasefire with the Kremlin is long-lasting. We're now joined live by our EU correspondent Angela Skujins in the Danish capital. Good afternoon, Angela. So you mentioned that broad support for these initiatives was drummed up at that meeting today. Why not unanimous?
Good afternoon, Claudia. Rightly pointed out, not unanimous. Hungary, the black sheep of the European Union, was singled out here by the High Representative, the EU's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas. Now, she broke protocol at a press conference following those high-level talks in the Danish capital here on Friday. She sounded exasperated, in which Hungary continues to block support for Ukraine as it weathers another year of Russian aggression. This unanimity is crucial as that country was recently struck by a barrage of missiles as well as drones. This happened late Wednesday night, flattening a 5-story residential building, killing at least 23 people. The White House stated that it was upset by this. We saw Radosław Sikorski, Poland's top diplomat, stating that this should only serve as a backdrop, a springboard for more support for the war-torn country as the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy goes into those peacetime talks spearheaded by Donald Trump. We're not sure when that will occur, but we know that security guarantees are crucial to ensure that a robust and long-term ceasefire.
We have 6.6 billion euros blocked. And we have offered to our Hungarian colleagues different ways out. I mean, opt out like they have in NATO. Also, I mean, different possibilities that are not part of the lethal aid or anything of a sort. But it hasn't been, we haven't been effective so far.
And so this was Angela Skujins reporting for us live from Copenhagen. Let's move on. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's chief of staff, Andriy Yermak, held a meeting on Friday with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff as part of an intensifying effort to mediate an end to the war. The meeting addresses issues of defense, security, and arranging future talks between Zelenskyy and Putin. Yermak emphasized the need for increased global pressure on Russia to compel Moscow to engage in peace negotiations. The meeting took place in the aftermath of large-scale drone and missile strikes on Kyiv, which damaged critical infrastructure and resulted in the deaths of approximately 23 people. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says that security guarantees for Ukraine should include provisions related to army funding, agreements with NATO members, as well as sanctions against Russia. When asked on Friday by journalists about his vision for security guarantees, Zelenskyy outlined 3 key pillars. The first involves maintaining the strength and size of the Ukrainian armed forces and ensuring consistent army supplies from Ukrainian, European, and U.S. manufacturers. The second pillar calls for agreements with NATO member states to ensure support for Ukraine in case of a renewed Russian aggression. Zelenskyy said he is planning to discuss NATO-like security guarantees with European partners next week. The third pillar covers sanctions against Russia and use of frozen Russian assets to fund Ukraine's post-war reconstruction. And as Volodymyr Zelenskyy continues to push for security guarantees for Ukraine, Russia is preparing for a military push near the key frontline city of Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region.
The situation on the front line is more or less under control. It's most serious at Pokrovsk right now. The enemy is building up and concentrating forces there, up to 100,000 troops as of this morning. They are preparing for an offensive. It's important we are aware of this and that we maintain control.
The United States has approved the sale of air defense missiles to Ukraine as Russian airstrikes continue to hit the country daily. Kyiv will purchase thousands of U.S.-made projectiles in a deal worth nearly $1 billion.
The ARAM, which stands for Standard Extended Range Active Missile, can be used to shoot down airplanes, drones, and other missiles. Ukraine will buy up to 3,350 of them from the US for $825 million, using funds provided by Denmark, the Netherlands, and Norway. The mechanism that allows this was agreed by NATO in July. For Ukraine, which defends itself against a country with a larger army and economy, foreign aid is crucial to be able to stay in the fight. And amid intense air attacks from Russia, acquiring more air defense remains a priority for Kyiv.
Belgium is set to provide Ukraine with nearly $120 million to boost the country's army. The aid is part of a wider NATO coordinated policy to increase European military spending. The move is a part of a wider prioritized Ukraine requirements list coordination mechanism developed under U.S. President Donald Trump, focused on purchasing American-made weapons and ammunition. Among its aims are better coordination of weapon purchasing and delineation of paths for procurement. The program has seen multiple Western countries involved, with the Netherlands and Germany among the largest donors. The Ukrainian army claims it has hit another fuel pumping station in Russia's Bryansk region. The station is believed to supply the Russian army with diesel for its ongoing invasion. The Ukrainian armed forces released footage of the purported strike against the station approximately 50 kilometers from Ukraine's border. The two explosions rocked the facility, which reportedly has a yearly capacity of 10.5 million tons. The site lies in the vicinity of another fuel pumping station that is part of the Druzhba pipeline, which was hit last week, disrupting the flow of Russian oil to Hungary and Slovakia. That strike caused diplomatic spat between Budapest and Kyiv. Speaking with TVP World, Ukrainian MP Oleksiy Goncharenko addressed the consequences of the recent Russian strike on Kyiv, emphasizing that it clearly demonstrates Moscow's unwillingness to end the war. He also re-emphasized the urgent need for peace in Ukraine.
I hope so. I hope so that the world will respond on these brutal acts and absolute barbaric attacks. And we hope that there will be more sanctions. But also we hope that Europe will react. Because we wait today a lot from the United States, but European countries can do more. And specifically, in the first place, they can seize Russian frozen assets. It's hundreds of billions of euros, first of all in Belgium, but also in other European countries, which are frozen but not seized. If we would have this money today, Ukraine could buy weapons, Europe can buy weapons for us for this money. This money can be used to help people who are suffering every day in Ukraine from Russian attacks, who lost their apartments and houses and so on. The signal is clear. Russia wants to continue to kill people. Russia wants to continue the war. Russia doesn't want any peace. All of this is a game which they play with President Trump and all this, but reality is deadly attacks, killing of innocent civilian people, including children. This is Russia, and they're not going to change, and they're not going to stop themselves. So the only way for us to stop it, that they should be stopped by civilized world.
Poland's legendary striker Robert Lewandowski is ready to don national colors once again and carry his country's hopes in the World Cup qualifiers. Proudly representing his homeland, the Barcelona star is determined to lead Poland to victory as they face a tough away battle against the Netherlands on September 4th.
Lewandowski had previously stepped away from leading the national team in June after a dispute with his head coach regarding his replacement as team captain. However, it has been announced that he will resume the captaincy upon his return. At 37 years old, Lewandowski has an impressive record of 85 goals and 158 appearances for Poland, with his involvement being crucial as the team prepares for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers.
And so this would be all the latest news for now. Thank you very much for joining. I'm Klaudia Czerwińska, but please do stay tuned because right after this show we have The Bottom Line with Marie Cato coming up next. And we'll see you there.